something. Looks like he is going to win it, and it's a 13-0 from PRX here on Lotus.
PRX won a game 13-0. This is actually something that is quite rare in VCT. In fact, all of last year, we only had one 13-0. This is obviously the first 13-0 of this year. Last year's was Loud versus EG. Funnily enough, EG obviously went on to win champ, so I guess congratulations, Talon, in advance. But the funny thing about this one is, in this one, if we come to the performance of this map, you see that Loud actually won 5 different 1v1 clutches in this game to get to a 13-0. So you could say that EG were probably a little bit unlucky. However, this PRX example, there wasn't so much luck involved, because if we come to performance again, you'll see that there was no clutches needed for PRX. They just stomped them. So let's start at the beginning with the first pistol round.
As here we go.
Yeah, that's just the fault line straight through. And yeah, Governor is not quite gonna get away. Okay, I thought he survived for a second, but he'll go down. Good push out from Band though. So now you've regained control of Mound. You have the forward turret. And you're still holding close. It's still a crossfire. It's a nice try, but you know the classic double jump out.
Okay, so let's break down the first part of this round. And let's actually start with PRX's comp, because they're playing Lotus, and this is a bit of a weird comp. In fact, it's a very weird comp. Now, PRX have played a comp like this before, but Forsaken was normally on a Cypher. He's now playing Breach instead. So this is something PRX like to do when they're struggling sometimes, is just double down, right? Double down to just more W key, right? We're now playing double Initiator, double Duelist, and an Omen. And that gives them some big advantages on this attack side. And we see that kind of with the first kill that they get here as well, because Jing's going to end up getting a kill that is assisted by literally everyone. Everyone else on the team gets an assist for this kill. So we've got the Paranoia in there. Obviously, we get some damage from something. We get a Skyflash. We get the Breach done. And this is another thing I want to highlight as well, is Forsaken's position, because he, will see in the clips, you know, is doing this a lot where he's actually disconnected from the team. And normally you would say, like, you know, why is my Breach, you know, disconnected from the team? But it's because, you know, he can still help support from deep with stuns. And as I said, he was playing the Cypher before, so perhaps he's just kind of more used to being this kind of more lurking role. And so that means that he actually isn't with the team. And so you see Governor there ends up dying to that. But Ban actually does get the kill back on Forsaken pushing up here. But then this is classic PRX, right? They just decide, okay, be even more aggressive, right? They throw the creativity. This is PRX incarnate, right? Of just, they know that there's people in and around here, right? But just the creativity with the util that they've got, just very quickly, jet smoke, and then we just start jumping around with the classics. Cruz has no chance, and, you know, they get the trade there into a 3v2. But now, let's take a look at what's going on now as well, because the end of the round, I think, is really good from PRX. They just open the door, but they actually just chill, right? Making it think like, oh, we could be coming over towards C. Instead, you see that Killjoy actually does start thinking about maybe they could be going C. But then we get this fight here. Right, Surf is running initially, but then they see each other here. My freaking Surf. Surf actually wins that fight. Okay, we know that obviously the Viper is behind us now, and they're going to see Ban out here as well. And watch how they deal with this PRX, because this is really clever. They're going to plant the spike. They know where both players are. They know where both players are coming from, but now take a look at what they do, because they're going to plant the spike, and then Jing takes some space, and now look, we're going to both just isolate one fight, right? It's no good here, if we're PRX, like going, oh, one person go here, one person go there. No, just pick a side. You know where both are. Pick one of them and just run at him, right? And take a 2v1 running at him on a pistol round. And, you know, you hope you win that without a kill back. And then you're just in a 2v1.
You have to imagine that they're going to push you if you're banned. You know that they're going to want to stick together. And he was somewhat ready for it. He was just trying to buy time for Surf. Seems like a bit of a misclick on that.
Yeah. Well, that was a...
Okay, now onto the bonus round. Always a tricky one to win, but very important to win a 13-0. This is going to be the only round that Talon get the first kill. And actually, they got the first 2 kills.
They set themselves up very well to clear all the corners. And a very clean second round as well. So now, buy rounds here for the side of Talon, as something this time is not going to have nearly as much luck as Governor is making quick work of them.
Okay, so Talon get the first couple kills here, and by the way, Governor is going to end this map with 3 kills. He gets 2 kills right there. Then we're going to see this, though, and we're going to see this in other rounds, and I don't know if this is some kind of anti-strat that they had, or whatever this is, but there are multiple times in this game where Ban is up here on B on his own, ahead of this turret, and he's going to just lose a 1v1. I don't know, again, if this is something that they saw from PRX that they thought they could exploit or not, but it didn't work, and theoretically doesn't make a lot of sense, right? And here, you know, we're in a 5v3, and it's going to be a messy fight from Ban, and he loses the fight and gives them a Razel, right? That's how they lose this round. And as we'll see in this game going forward, it's not just PaperX playing well. To win a 13-0, the other team has to play bad as well, right? It can't just be one or the other. There has to be both, pretty much. And we're going to see that. And that first part there is the first part of what I would consider Talon playing bad. Now, from this point, you know, there's nothing too necessarily wrong with this, right? We go 1-for-1 there on MyFreak. Absolutely fine. Governor avoids this boombot. But the problem is, you know, perhaps they're thinking that, oh, you know, this guy is, you know, the one that they've seen. They might focus on this guy first. They don't really know where these players are. They're all coming from different directions. So it is going to be a bit tough here from Talon. And eventually Jing just snipes someone with his Razel as well. And they end up losing the round.
Governor has 10 health, and he is not going to get any damage done to Jing. PRX, there's the showstopper. Just buying some more time.
Yeah, it wastes so much time, and he times it for Cruz. Right as he enters, Jing is unstoppable today.
Okay, next one here, round number 6, and there is a lot of Talon mistakes I could show in this one, but I think this one highlights it pretty well. PaperX are just going to go for a very fast C exec here, and what you're going to see is, again, with this comp, like, how do you stop an exec with double duelist, double initiator, and an omen? How do you ever stop that, right? Like, what's your plan to stop an exec here? Because a Viper Killjoy ain't enough to stop that, as you will now see.
Yes, especially after a timeout, you know, you might see a set play from the side of Talon, but I don't really see all too much just yet. As here comes Jing very aggressively. A lot of the same. He's coming right at him. As Forsaken's going to get the kill here at B. Meanwhile, the whole team is just on C for free.
Yeah, and I believe he did catch slight sight of Jip Boys as well, so he's just going to back out. That's good decisions from Forsaken. Vi's going to help cover that for the time being. Now you're covering the flank. You're wondering, because they didn't cover Rubble at all, they're a little bit scared of the flank, but now ready for the push through, and he gets a kill with the aftershock.
Oh boy. Yeah, Talon kind of floundering here, you could say. Jip Boys is going to dodge the flash. Surf is on the site, but that's going to be the end of Jip Boys, and they know where Surf is. Down he goes.
Okay, so there's some interesting things to talk about in this one as well. The first one is, again, Forsaken's position, right, when they go for the C exec, and how they go for the C exec, I think is quite cool as well. So Forsaken is stunning. You can see him all the way back here from actually on B. You know, they just rip it in, they send it, you know, basically straight away. There just isn't a really enough delay there. And actually at this point, you know, Talon, you know, they started putting their nanoswarms even deeper, right? Not even worrying about this, but kind of worrying about almost this second part, you might say, of like where an exec might normally come in. PaperX are just sending it. They're also commonly doing this smoke here, just like on the site, because to kind of help Jing, I guess, for him to blast back in. You know, something can then dash into it as well, and even Mindfreak can potentially TP into it also, right? So you can get 3 people like right up there straight away, probably because they want to avoid any snake bites or nanos that are, you know, maybe down here instead, and they know that they can really just send it back site super fast, right? Or if they know that someone is here, right, we can jet dash one way, raise satchel the other, and pinch on him, right? So there's a lot of like different opportunities here for a C exec for them. You see the stun coming in here, they have to just give up the site. And as I said, like how this is hard to stop. We already talked about Ban, right? Here's another example of he's just ahead of the turret, you know, dies. Don't need to. Jip Boys is like here with him, you know, if he wants to go for this. Jip Boys is, he can call Jip Boys over if he wants at this point, right? If we want to take this kind of B swing, come swing it with me. That's fine. Jip Boys is just over to play retake. So Ban dies here. Again, not great, but as we run this forward, the next part is going to be even, that's not the worst death in this round, because the next one is perplexing. I actually don't know what happens here. I can't tell you what happens here. It's Cruz's death to this aftershock, because take a look at it. You might have thought like, what, did he get seized or something? Well, no, he didn't get seized because they don't have a fade, right? So just take a look at him. He's here, right? He throws the seize. The aftershock has just gone from Forsaken. He just sent the aftershock out this way on this wall just here. Now Cruz has an Odin, right? So just take a look at him. He's there. He starts spamming with his Odin. You can tell, right? He's crouched. He's spamming this wall, right? A part of this wall. He just stays there and just dies to it. And there's no assist. And he isn't stunned. Forsaken, you know, used his stun for the CX. Like, he doesn't have a stun yet, right? Because we're not that deep into the round. He doesn't have a stun. He's not stunned. He just dies. Now, I'd love to see that from Cruz's POV, because I'm guessing he just thought he was out of the aftershock. But after he gets hit the first time, like, move. I honestly don't know what happened there to Cruz. It's a very, very perplexing death. And then obviously PRX are able to convert. And then as we went forward, I feel like Talon started to get a bit desperate, and also we're just playing into the chaos of this entire game, which obviously is what PRX want.
Hey, we also saw Jinx kills, and they're just not missing a beat. They're coming in really strong, really fast, and they're winning every single duel, as you mentioned.
My ult's ready.
And that just kind of makes things feel a bit unfair, as now something's waiting for the push, and...
So this one here, I mean, again, you might think like they're in a decent position. You know, they take early A control out here. They see that no one's there. We get an op shot on C. They get the Viper's Pit on C. They're in a good spot here, right? Again, but when you're playing against this comp, I can somewhat understand that it's tough, even with a Viper's Pit, right? Like, especially when they have a Razor as well. Like, do you trust, if you're Talon, do you trust against this comp when they have a Razor that this pit is good? And you start to think like, I'm not so sure. Because, you know, when I first watched this round, I'm thinking like, oh, bro, you have a Viper's Pit. Like, you know, just, and you have like full A control. You're in such a good position here, right? Like if you just like someone chills here and, you know, we start rotating and we get multiple people on B and you know, we just figure out where they're going. We've got really good control of the map. You know, we're good. But I can understand that these three are thinking like, well, they're just going to run at this pit because, you know, why wouldn't they at this point? They're 8-0 up. You know, they've got a Razor. They're just going to run at the pit. And so you feel like you have to make a play, right? And try and make this play. And obviously they don't have a Sentinel. So going for flanks in general, you might think is, hey, that's a good idea against a no Sentinel comp, right? They might just be milling around, staring at this Viper's Pit instead. So I can understand it. But obviously we can see that obviously it looks foolish almost, right? That PRX just decide, oh yeah, we'll come back and just kill you all. Absolutely no problem. And then you end up in a 4v2 again, right? And it's like you're in a bad spot. And, you know, when 3 people are dying here, you know, 20 seconds into the round, and then Jing just diffs ban there, you know, swinging out on his own as well. You know, it's not great here for Talon. And obviously at this point, they were kind of panicking, getting into the mess of it all. But PRX, you know, they were on it. They were on it from, you know, we saw it from the pistol round. They were very much on it, what they needed to do. And we got to 9. And this C exec, as you had already seen in one round, and then just the threat of the C exec, you know, was always looming over them, and Talon just didn't have an answer for it.
Long range, just 1-2 taps with the Vandal. Like, he hasn't missed a single one. It's really scary stuff, and it's very demoralizing to go into that, as here comes Jing once again. He's just running through everything, doesn't care. Pressing that W key, they're going to clear out the C side as well as they can. The Surf is, yeah, they're just going to run at him and take him down, take them both down. Will something.
Here.
The set executes. I mean, is it set? Is it blood? With PRX, you never quite know, but it's a mix of both every time. And
something wanted his ace.
Yes.
And this is often when you get into big trouble in a game where you just don't know how to defend a site. Right? There's just no answer to a certain exec that your opponent is doing. That's when you run into big trouble, because then it's like, well, you can't just do a normal setup because they'll just beat that, right? And then what do you do, right? You start stacking more people there, and it leads to weaknesses elsewhere on the map. But I mean, how do you stop? I mean, obviously in this round, they just have like sheriffs, right? So we're not really expecting too much. But you've got Viper Killjoy here on this site, right? This is like 2 of the most stopping power agents in the game. And it doesn't matter one bit. Right? Jing's getting past most of the Nano Swarms, and then as I said, like, because you've got like a Jet and like potentially an Omen if they want to as well, right? Like, when 3 people can get past your Nano Swarms, they ain't doing that much. You know, they really just ain't doing that much, right? And Snake Bites as well. Like, you, all of a sudden, you ain't doing that much. Because in theory, it's 1, maybe 2 sometimes with an Omen TP. Now it's like, could be 3, definitely 2. And they're still getting like deep support from the Sky and the Breach. And, you know, the Seekers come out this time. And again, they've got this smoke in here as well. It's like they knew that, like, you know, we don't need to even worry about this. We're going to go so fast that, you know, this map's so big. We don't need to smoke this off. Because if we're going this fast, no one's going to be here. Right? None of these guys are going to ever be in time here. Right? Unless they're just already stacking C. So yeah, like, they're just in trouble. The dog then comes out. I mean, Surf is just shooting utility throughout this round, constantly, right? And it just, I don't know what you want to say. Something then, like, you know, just come and heal me. You know, like a ranked E-data. Like, you know, coming back to the buy, heal me, heal me, heal me. You know, I want my kills. You know, actually looking like a Smurf and just a Sky healer, essentially. Like, and, you know, he gets his 4K. And so we ended at 12-0. But, of course, they still needed to win a pistol round. And, of course, on Talon's day, what did they decide to do? They decided to come to B. And where did PRX decide to have 3 players? Oh, on B. Yeah, it didn't go great.
Very straightforward as well, as we are going to head into our pistol round. See if PRX can close this out cleanly.
Well, they are stunned.
Yeah, they know exactly where everybody is. That's 3 kills already! And PRX, they're looking for it. Can they pick it up? Bam, he wants to put an end to it. He's going to get one. And it's only Cruz. He is just running behind them, knife out. But this is looking like it's going to happen, William.
Yes.
I'm not going to say anything.
I mean, yeah, we've denied a lot of the viewers.
Something. Looks like he is going to win it, and it's a 13-0 from PRX here on Lotus.